afternoon. Thank you for joining On Air with Russell of Hotels. Actually, this is the daily check-in with Russell of Hotels. Today is Wednesday, or, just like I say, a hump day. So a happy hump day to everybody. Today is Wednesday, July 16th. It is 2 o'clock, right, on Wednesday. So this is a daily check-in, right? I do this Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. On Air with Russell of Hotels comes on every Tuesday at 1 o'clock. Yesterday, I did that show. That was show number 305. So if you haven't checked it out, please do so. We're live on LinkedIn, live on YouTube, so you can go and check out the replay either on YouTube or LinkedIn, as well as Facebook, okay? So the replay is always going to be there. So just in case you can't catch it live, which, most people can't, and I understand that, I would love a more live audience so I can, respond to questions and answers and all those kind of things, get that engagement. But hey, I understand you all have lives, right? So the replay is just as good as the live, but feel free to go back and check out the replay. Once again, Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn, it's there. It's always going to be there, okay? So let me turn on the comment section here. So feel free to make comments in real time on YouTube. You can make them on LinkedIn as well, but they just won't be in real time, and I won't be able to address them until after this show is over, okay? So there you go. But if you have not ever been to my YouTube page, please go to YouTube, youtube.com, type in the space bar or the search bar, Russell of Hotels. Then I will pop up, you'll see me, and then you just hit that subscribe button, and it'll go bing. And then anytime I go live, you'll get the notification. And you're like, oh my God, what is Russell talking about now? This guy is always on alive, doing something, talking about something, hospitality. And that's what it's all about, right? So yeah, I always talk about things hospitality, good, the bad, the ugly, the challenging, the fun. I mean, everything is fun, right? I mean, even though when you're dealing with some challenging things, once you get through them, you look back on them like, you know what? That was pretty dope, I must say so myself. Or that was funny. That guest, he was something else. He was a piece of work. Or she was out of control. All those things, all those emotions. When you work in a hotel, there's a lot of stuff that goes on, right? And you guys don't have know half of it. Unless you work in a hotel, you've experienced it, you know what I'm talking about. Or in a restaurant, anything hospitality, if you worked in those things, you deal with people, and people are something else. I'll just leave it at that. People are something else. Is that good? Is that bad? Is that indifferent? Yeah, all of the above, okay? So, but when you have 25, 30 years of experience in that, then you got to share stuff, right? You got to have a daily check-in with Russell of Hotels, because you just don't know what I'm going to talk about, right? So anyway, so anytime I do one of these daily check-ins or on air with Russell of Hotels, I always bring a hotel along with me, right? A hotel that I've been to, that I've stayed in, that I have experienced. And today is no exception, because today is the Aloft. It's called the Aloft. It's a Marriott brand, and it's in NOLA, New Orleans, Louisiana. So this is the one downtown. I believe there's 2 Alofts in New Orleans, but this is the one downtown on Nerone Street? Nerone? I think I'm going to say Nerone. It starts with an N. Nerone? Okay, one of those streets. It's downtown, okay? So if you were to look up Aloft downtown New Orleans, you would find this one. This is the one that's there. In fact, you can see there's a pool table in the lobby. They have a bar. So it's kind of a select service hotel. Doesn't have, room service, anything like that. So it's not a full service hotel, but it's definitely nice. And it's kind of, if you don't need anything, if you don't want any frills, you just want to get to your room, check in, get to your room, maybe get your, snacks and things like that, because there is a market. If you want to just, hang out, play some pool, you can do that. There is a bar there as well. If you want to get your food and take it to your room, you can do all that, right? But it's just not full service, but it's definitely a nice hotel, and I enjoy staying there. And it's not that expensive. It's relatively inexpensive for where it's located. So yeah, so I thought it was quite nice. And it's about 130 rooms, I want to say, something like that. Small meeting space, maybe 1 or 2 meeting rooms, probably total about less than 1,000 square feet. So there you go. So you got a little bit about the Aloft Hotel. Love the brand. It used to be part of Starwood. Before Marriott bought Starwood, Aloft was one of those Starwood brands. But of course, when Marriott bought Starwood, all those brands came under the Marriott name. So of course, Marriott has about 31 or 32 brands under its name, and probably counting, right? I may be missing a couple. Excuse me. So anyway, I think that's it. Let's move on. So the daily check-ins don't have to last that long. Sometimes I get a little long-winded, and that's why they last longer than they probably should. But it's about 20, 25 minutes, something like that. Sometimes I'll go 30, depending on the nature of the topic, and maybe sometimes people ask questions or whatever. So, or maybe I just get, once again, I said I get long-winded sometimes. And, sometimes that's the case as well. So anyway, but, we'll just move on. So anyway, top 50 social media influencers and global hospitality 2025. Yeah, that's me, Russell of Hotels, Russell L. Edmond. So I just wanted to put that up there because a lot of people don't know that. And I keep saying that. And, the more I say it, the more people are going to know, right? So that's what I'm saying, right? But you as a brand, you have to advocate for your brand, okay? So regardless if it's your own personal brand that you develop or it's a brand that you work for, say it's a hotel or whatever, you have to be the one excited about it. You have to let people know that you work there. Hey, I'm the general manager here, or hey, I'm the sales manager there. Hey, I work housekeeping over here. Whatever it is, you need to show some excitement because then people, excitement is infectious, right? So it's like, oh my God, did you know Russell worked over here? He did this, he did that. Next thing you know, other people know about that too when they come across you. They were like, hey, I understand you work at that, the XYZ hotel. Yeah, and you're the director of sales. Yeah, you know what? I was thinking about having a group there, a group meeting there. What do you think about that? You never know where it's gonna go. But if you're not excited about it, if you're just like, yeah, I work at this hotel. If you're not excited about it, why the hell would someone want to be excited about you and, the drama that you've created in the hotel? No one wants to go to a hotel with drama and sadness and all that stuff. No, they want to come where it's exciting and fun and, a lot of energy, because energy and excitement equals some hospitality, right? And it's all about how you are made the guest feel. The guest walks away feeling like, oh my God, that was a great experience. I definitely will be back. But if they're like, you know what, that place sucked, that's just draining. That place is just draining. Guess what? They're not coming back. So just make sure you let people know that you're excited. And then next they'll be knocking on your door. They're like, hey, we want to have something at your hotel. Or maybe someone's looking for a job. Hey, my son needs a job. You seem excited about, what you're doing. Are there any opportunities for my son? I mean, whatever it is, you just never know. But if you're not excited about it, you ain't gonna get any of that stuff. Okay. So anyway, I just wanted to say I'm one of the top 50. So I said all that to say, you have to let people know who you are, what you do, and how you can help them. And if there's any accolades that come along with that, let them know because they may not know. All right. So there you go. I'm on a roll today. So, okay, the blog. I always talk about the blog, right? So any topic that I discuss on this show, either on this show, this is the daily check-in, or on Air with Russell of Hotels, all those topics will be on my blog, okay? So you don't have to write notes. You don't have to commit anything I say to memory. It will be there. Just go to the blog. Just go russellofhotels.com. Go to the blog, hit the button, bing, and it pops up, and all the information is there. And, whatever I'm going to talk about, including today, whatever I'm going to talk about is already on the blog, okay? So that's one thing I'm trying to get better at is being more proactive instead of reactive. So I'm being proactive and putting it up. So when I do this, a daily check-in or on Air with Russell of Hotels, the information is already there. So you can just go over there and click at your leisure and then just say, hey, here it is. I don't have to write notes and I don't have to commit it to memory. Russell's done it all. Okay, so there you go. And this is I mentioned that it has a bar. This is actually the bar area. You can see part of the bar to my right. And then they had this area, if you can see in the back, it says Aloft Hotels, right? So they have that's like a step and repeat. And you see the chairs right there. Like people are doing podcasts there. I'm like, this is kind of dope, right? kind of a podcast area. Well, guess what I did? When I was there, I did a podcast from there, or I did a live or whatever. So it's like set up for that. That's why it's set up. So you'd be surprised with some of these hotels. They understand, podcasts and technology and all those kind of things. And they want you to succeed, right? So some of these hotels take that into consideration, and they want to meet the needs, whatever those needs are. They want to meet those. And one of the needs for this new generation is, people want to talk about themselves and broadcast what they're doing and let people know. It's all about that brand, right? It's all about that visibility, right? So some of these brands have taken that to another level, and Aloft is one of those hotels that did, especially the one here in New Orleans. So I was pleasantly surprised, and I didn't know when I went there that they had that. I just went there and just say, hey, oh my God, this is kind of cool. I think I'm going to do a live right here in this spot. In fact, one of those chairs, I did a live there. So there you go. So just believe this. When I go back to New Orleans, guess where I'm going to be staying? I'll be staying here. Well, I'll stay here in another hotel, but definitely will stay here at the Aloft again. And that's what people want to hear. Like, you'll come back, right? You let people know, like, if you had a nice stay at their hotel, let them know that, hey, I'll be back. When business brings me back, to New Orleans, I will definitely stay here again. People want to hear that. That's a good thing. That means they are satisfied, they've enjoyed your hospitality, and, they want to grace you with their presence one more time. So once again, the blog, just go russellofhotels.com, hit the blog. It's a drop down, and you'll see it, and all the information will be there regarding the topic. Just like today's topic. Okay, today's topic is top four ways branding has changed since COVID. You guys know I'm always on this branding tip, right? I'm always talking about branding because I think it's important. I think it's more important than selling, okay? Branding and selling are two different things. They may be both types, they're under the marketing umbrella, branding and selling, but I think branding is more strategic. So in order to sell, you have to brand. You know what I mean? You have to know what the brand is before you can sell it. There you go. And what is branding? Some people don't even know what the heck branding is. They say, oh, you throw that word around loosely. Well, what the heck does it really mean? What the hell is it? No one's ever explained to me. Branding is the process of creating a distinct identity for a business, organization, or an individual in the minds of the audience. It goes beyond logos and color schemes. Branding is how people feel, recognize, and remember your business. So that's a quick little definition or explanation of what a brand is or what branding is, okay? So number one, let's get into it because like I said, these things don't have to be that long. I just kind of, can draw them out sometime. But anyway, okay, number one, visibility is no longer optional, it's strategy. Does that sound familiar? I've been talking about branding is visibility is part of it should be part of your strategy. And I always say, I love to see marketing plans, how they're written today. Okay. Now I haven't been on property in a while. Okay. So 7 years, going on 7 years. That was my last property, right? What are people writing in their marketing plan? Are they talking about visibility? Are they talking about that being a strategy? I guarantee you 100% I can get 10 of them right now from any hotel and it's not in there. I guarantee you, because they don't look at the value of being visible. They just don't. Hotels don't, they're not at that point yet. I don't understand why not. They're not really embracing 100% social media. And I'm going for hotels, I'm going for CVBs, tourism boards, all those, okay, across the board, okay. I'm not seeing the consistency. And I think people are actually missing out on a lot of business because they're not as visible as they should be. And they're not visible, and then they're wondering why no one knows who their hotel is, or they never heard of their destination, or that it has all these great, things going on in this particular destination because they're not doing a good enough job putting the message out there. And it all starts with visibility, okay? So number one, I don't know. I'm going off on tangents, just so you know. On everything here, I'm going to go off on this soliloquy on everything. But anyway, number one, visibility is no longer optional. It's strategy. Brands could rely on seasonal campaigns, paid ads, or occasional updates. Remember that? We're talking about paid ads and seasonal campaigns. Oh, we got to do this seasonal campaign for it's coming up school and this and that. Now you must stay consistently visible across platforms: LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, podcasts, or risk being forgotten. What? Wait a minute. Let me read that again. And in fact, let me put this over here. Let me put my little iPad over here because I need to read that again. It said, okay, visibility is no longer optional, it's strategy. Before, back in the day, before COVID, okay, remember the topic is top 4 ways branding has changed since COVID. So COVID was 5 years ago, right? This is 2025. That was 2020, okay, when COVID hit and the world shut down. And after the world came out of hiding, things had changed. Marketing, sales had changed, because things were at a standstill. So we had to do things differently to get people. Well, it hasn't changed. We still have to do, see, some people just want, well, it's going to go back to where it was. No, it's not. It's over. Remember AI? AI was going on then, but it wasn't where it is now. It just ramped it up. COVID just ramped up AI, and let's do it. What they say, the horse is out of the barn, the cat out of the bag, or whatever the heck it is. You can't put it back in. The genie's out of the bottle. Katie barred the door. I mean, whatever the sayings you want to use, it's out there. It's not like, whoa, when AI gets here. No, AI is here. It's been here. Okay, so we need to embrace certain things. Okay, so visibility is one of those things we need to embrace. So once again, visibility is no longer optional. It's strategy. Before, and that means back in the day, brands could rely on seasonal campaigns. They we're just going to rely on this seasonal campaign. In the fall we're going to have back to school, whatever kind of stuff that we used to do, or probably still do. Excuse me. Paid ads. I mean, some paid ads are still going on, but have you changed those? Are they up to date? Or occasional updates? Every now and then we'll do them. Now you must stay consistently visible across all platforms. That's LinkedIn, that's Instagram, that's YouTube, and what about podcasts? Have you done a podcast? If you've been invited to do a podcast and you have not, shame on you, you missed the boat, okay? Call that person back and say, hey, I'm willing to do a podcast now, because that's a way to get your message out. Because if you don't get your message out, there's a risk of you being forgotten. You and your brand. I mean, the brand starts with you, right? People buy you. They don't buy the hotel that you work in or the destination that you work in. They buy you. There's a personal feeling or touch or whatever the heck it is. They buy you. But you don't want to be forgotten, do you? Well, guess what? There's someone else that's out there, your competition that's out there that's being more visible than you. So people have to look at themselves. Let's start looking at ourselves like, why am I missing out on this business? I mean, I thought I had a great presentation or whatever, but a lot of times it can come down to visibility. How many times have they seen you? Have you put out a message? What I did a couple of weeks ago? And maybe you guys didn't see this, or maybe you didn't, right? Or maybe you didn't hear me talk about this. It had to do with a video message, right? Just, do a quick little 20-second video message on your phone and then send it to, one of your clients or whatever. Maybe a client that has not responded back to you. You have their cell phone number. Just send them a quick video message. Or you have their email. You can do that via email as well. You can record it and then send it to them via your phone, right? Via email, via text, however you want to do that. But the key was the video message, right? And I said, if somebody sends me a video message, they're probably going to have a client for life. Or at least I'm going to come check their hotel out, right? Well, somebody saw that and they found my phone number, which is on my website. That's my cell phone, right? They text me a video message. They happen to be at a hotel in Las Vegas that I had never been to before, okay? They just went through this major renovation, whatever. Guess what? She sent me this thing saying, Hey, Russell of Hotels, I'm blah, 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 blah. I would love to have you come and check out our hotel. I know you do meetings in Vegas, blah, blah, blah. We would love to have you come and check out our hotel. Please reach out when you can. That kind of thing. It was that simple. It was short, 20 seconds, and it blew me away. I'm like, I picked up the phone and called this person. I'm going. In fact, I already set it up. I want to say it's September during IMAX. I'm going to be there during IMAX. Instead of doing the other stuff in IMAX, I'm going to be staying at that hotel. I'm going to be checking it out. I'm going to be talking about it because someone did that. And it was a test. I wanted to see if somebody would see this and actually call me on it. And they did. So those things work, right? But you have to utilize them, right? Some people are like, oh, that's corny, that's sappy. Okay, well, guess what? There's people that are making money and making their goals, and you're not because you're complaining about, oh, something that's corny and sappy. Okay, so, whew, let me calm down a little bit, okay, because I'm getting riled up. But no, I mean, I just think it's important that we know what we can do. Whatever your competition is not doing, you need to do it, or whatever your competition is doing, do something totally different. I mean, we have to do that, right? Oh, man. But anyway, okay. Once again, I said before brands could rely on seasonal campaigns, paid ads, and occasional updates. Now you must stay consistent, visible across platforms like LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, and podcasts. If you have an opportunity to be on a podcast, be on a podcast. Visibility means showing up authentically, consistently, and with a purpose. Not just promoting, but engaging. It's all about engaging, right? Now, I can be out here just doing these lives, and then I get all these comments, and I'm not responding to them. No, you have to respond to the comments. You're opening yourself up. Like if hotels start sending things out, and they're getting questions or concerns about things, or maybe there's some complaints, you have to respond to those things because people remember if you don't. They don't necessarily remember. They want you to, but that's a good thing when you respond. But if you don't, you're going to get more backlash than if you did respond. So when you open yourself up, you have to respond to things. You have to engage people, respond. But that's what people want. You respond to them, good, bad, or indifferent, you did respond to them. Be open and honest. People will respect that, and they just okay, let's move on. Okay, all right. Well, thank you for your response. Let's move on. I still like your hotel. Let's move on. But try not responding at all and see what happens. Okay, see what happens then. So number 2, from product driven to people focused. Before, the spotlight was on features, room count, meeting space, amenities. Oh, I got 200 rooms, 100,000 square feet of meeting space, and I got all the amenities. We got a pool. No one cares about all that anymore. Now it's about how you make people feel. Are they safe? Are they being seen? Are they inspired? It's simple, right? But we're not thinking about that. We're just thinking about ourselves. We want to put our agenda out there. It's never about us, okay? It's never about us. If they want to know about the property, they will ask about the property, right? You give them all the features and benefits of this, right? But what they really want to know is, what is the story here? What's your story? What brought you here? Why is this hotel so great? That kind of thing. Is it, was it built in the 1920s? This is 2025. Was it built like in the 1920s? Is it some type of some famous architect that did, that designed it? Those are the things that's creating a story. Tell them your story. How'd you got started in this hotel industry, or this, as a destination person, or whatever the heck it is? People are into stories, and we have to do that. We have to let people know, because people want to feel safe, they want to be seen, and they want to be inspired. Brands that focus on connection, empathy, and wellness wins hearts and bookings. Because at the end of the day, it's all about bookings, right? At the end of the day, it's all about the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Number 3, from polished to authentic. Before, marketing was clean, scripted, highly produced. Remember how perfect marketing used to be? I mean, we put our pieces out there, glossy this, oh my God, this is that, oh, this is great. We spend $50,000 on all this stuff, all this collateral and the folders, and it had to be perfect and all that stuff. Okay, now branding is about, now, wait a minute, where am I? Okay, now audiences value real stories, unfiltered moments, and human faces. So before I got kind of sidetracked, I'm looking down when I should be looking in the middle. Before, marketing was clean, scripted, and highly produced, right? Now, audiences value real stories. It's all about authenticity in the stories, unfiltered moments. I mean, hey, if I make a mistake, I'm gonna keep it going, right? Oh, I said something wrong. Okay, all right. Well, I apologize and keep going, right? To err is human, okay? And then human faces. They want to see you. They want to see who you are, what you look like. Okay, like, oh, that's Russell. Oh, yeah, I know that guy. I see that guy all the time. Behind the scenes videos, user generated content, and honest communication drive trust. User generated content. That means someone else is creating content for your hotel because they had such a great time there. They're using their power or the stroke of the key to talk about your brand, and that's what you want, right? You want that user generated content, right? So I'm at a hotel and I've had such great service, and then I go home or on my way home or whatever, I start talking about your hotel in a favorable light, right? I'm like, this hotel is great. I stayed here, I stayed there, just like with this hotel, the Aloft in New Orleans, right? I'm talking about it. Oh, I play pool. I use their podcast area to do a live and a podcast myself there. I mean, those are things that I've been talking about and I will continue to talk about, right? So when I go to hotels, those are things that I talk about because I want people to know about it, right? So that's user generated content. It's not coming from the hotel, it's coming from someone else. And guess what I do on my user generated content? I always tag the hotel on that. Okay, whatever I'm posting, I'll tag them so they can see, oh my God, this Russell of Hotels, he tagged us. He loves our hotel. Oh my God, let's get in touch with him. Maybe he can do some other things for us. That's how it starts. Number 4, from one-way messaging to two-way conversations. Before, brands talked at customers or consumers through ads, press releases, and static websites. Now, branding is about interaction, responding to comments, I mentioned that earlier, DMs, reviews, and engaging in real time. That's what it's all about, engaging in real time, sliding into someone's DMs. You have to be open for everything, right? Meaning I let people know who I am, right? Who I am, what I do, and how I can help you. If you have any questions, go to my website, russellofhotels.com. My phone number is there. I always mention this. My phone number is there. My email is there. Okay. You can communicate with me however you want to communicate with me. It's not about me. It's about you. How do you want to communicate? Do you want to email me? Russell@russellofhotels.com. If you want to call me, well, go to my website and my phone number is there. I'm not going to give my phone number right now over on this live, but all you have to do is go russellofhotels.com. All my information is there. So I'm open. All the social media platforms. If I'm on IG, if you want to slide into my DMs, you can do that. If you can instant message me on LinkedIn or YouTube or whatever, Facebook, however you want to get a hold of me, I'm on every social media platform for a reason because I don't want it to be hard for you to find me, okay? I'm accessible. So you have to be 100% accessible. Some people are not willing to do that. Oh my God, I'm not going to let people whatever. Okay, I do, okay? Because I want to be there to help people. So there you go. Social media isn't a bulletin board anymore. It's a place to build relationships. What? Let me read that one more time. Social media isn't a bulletin board anymore. It's a place to build relationships. I don't know how many relationships I have built on social media, especially during those COVID times, right? You guys remember, was it called Clubhouse? It was an all audio kind of thing. You couldn't see the people, but you can speak and all this kind of stuff. You get invited on stage and all this kind of stuff. It was this whole thing during COVID. A lot of people gravitated to those things, and I was one of those people, right? So many people, I learned and met so many people during that time. They talk about hotel things, hospitality, whatever. But I learned so many new things about certain things and learn so many people. I got a chance to meet people And then when COVID, went away, and then kind of Clubhouse wasn't as strong as it was, people weren't using as much. They started using more video. I started meeting those people, right? And some people I met in real life. I've been to conferences with these people. They've been on my show, On Air with Russell of Hotels. I've been on their podcast, and these are people that are all over the world. They're not just here in Los Angeles or Hawaii, California. They're all over the globe, right? So it was this international connection that I have now. So a lot of things like the, International Hospitality Institute, I'm reaching people all over the United States, not just here, all over the world, not just here in the US, right? And a lot of that came from being involved in a Clubhouse or on social media with LinkedIn or IG or whatever, because you got to remember those things have worldwide reach. It's global, right? So do you want to be a global brand? You want to reach people internationally? Well, this is one way of doing it. You never know what business you're missing out on unless you start getting involved in that business that's over there, right? So you'll never know until you get involved. And social media is a way to do that. So, I remember back in the day, we always wish we had a media outlet where we can reach people. And, TV and radio were the things, right? TV was, so expensive that hotels couldn't afford to do that. Even to this day, do you see a lot of hotels? Let me just say this. Do you see a lot of hotels that do advertising or promotion on just regular traditional TV? Like say Super Bowl, or, it can be just a sporting event, right? You see like hotels.com or, what's the other one? Expedia or Priceline. You see those, they don't own hotels. They're third parties. They have more budget. Their budgets are larger than the three big hotel companies combined, right? So that's why you don't see hotels doing this. They just allow the third parties to do it. They're like, you know what? Whatever. We're not going to do it. We're not going to compete. They can't compete with their marketing dollars. So that's why hotels don't do it. That's why you see more hotels.com, Expedia, Priceline. That's why you see them do advertising and promotion. That's why people are booking through these third parties. I'm like, but I know the deal. I don't book through third parties. I don't, because once you deal with them and you have issues at the hotel, you still have to go back to through the third party. Okay, so it's not as easy and seamless as you would think it would be. But hey, those entities, they survive because consumers are naive. Okay, and as I said, I'm just saying what it is, right? I'm no shade on them. They form great businesses, multi-billion-dollar businesses, and I respect that. But remember, I came from the hotel side, right? So Expedia and all those third parties weren't necessarily a great thing. We thought they were, but then we started quickly understanding, like, wait a minute, we're giving up a lot of stuff here. We're trying to give up some market share as well, which means you're giving up some money. So anyway, let me get off of that soapbox. But anyway, so just remember that these were the top 4 ways branding has changed since COVID. Number 1, visibility is no longer optional, it's strategy. Number 2, from product driven to people focused. Number 3, from polished to authentic. And number 4, from one-way messaging to two-way conversations. Just remember, all this stuff is on my blog. Just go to my website, russellofhotels.com, and just go to the blog and you see all the information in its entirety. Okay. So once again, this is the Aloft in New Orleans. And just in case I have to change something right here, this is going to be show number 306. So just remember, next week, On Air with Russell of Hotels comes on every Tuesday at 1 o'clock. It will be show number 306, right? Live on LinkedIn, live on YouTube, just like this daily check-in is, right? So just remember that. And that was the room. So that was my guest room, right? So it's pretty basic, no frills. You got a bed, you got a bathroom, you got a TV, a big TV, okay? And check this out right here. that's that's your luggage rack, okay, or you can sit on that. The TV is above that, right? The TV is above that. But yeah, so kind of no frills, kind of pow. I don't know what that means, but so it had a working desk too. So it had everything that you needed. It's just that it's pretty basic, right? And a loft is a pretty basic room. It's no frills, but it does have a good sized shower. And I remember it had a rain shower too, like big shower head and over my I mean, it was cool, right? So little vanity. I mean, that's all you need, right? And a big king size bed, okay. And a view. The view, I think I can see the Mississippi from my room. So there you go. So that is it. I do this daily check-in Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Today's hotel that I showcased was the Aloft in New Orleans, the one downtown. So any questions at all, feel free to reach out to me. My email is there somewhere. Where is it at? It's coming. So Russell at russellofhotels.com. You want to call me, just go to you want to call me, just go russellofhotels.com. My phone number is there, and the email is there as well. But I'm on every social media platform as well. And just remember this, you can't expect results if you're hiding. Visibility is not luck, it's strategy. There you go. That's all I got for you today. So make sure you join tomorrow, Thursday, because I'm going to do another daily check-in. Until then, have a great hump day. And as always, peace.